So good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay. When you plan these live events, things always come up, so my apologies. But thank you for joining us. It is about 20 minutes to noon, so good morning, technically almost good afternoon. I want to thank you for joining me today on this Facebook Live event. We are 1 week from the opening of schools, so we are excited. All of our students return back on September 9th. So hopefully you have had contact either from myself, should have gotten a letter in the mail, should have been hearing from your principals. They have been sending letters as well. There have been orientation events going on across the district, welcoming our students and families back into our buildings. And again, we're excited to get this 2021-22 school year kicked off in person for our students, safely in person, obviously. And so this is a little different, and so we're going out on a limb, going to try something a little new. So if you have some questions, because I'm sure that will be something that many of you may have, please feel free to put them into the comments area. I do have some staff here looking at the questions, and we should have some time to answer some of those questions now live and put up some frequently asked questions document afterwards to hopefully answer it, because I'm sure you not are the only one, you are not the only person with that question, and there may be others who also have that question. So I got some things I want to run through that are, I think, important as we get ready to welcome you all back to our buildings next week. First thing is the main line to get your get your questions answered by district staff, whether it's transportation, central registration, whether you haven't received anything and you've moved and you want to make somebody aware of that. You can always call your school, which I highly recommend, the last school that you attended, so you can call and try to get any support. But you can always call our main line here at 518 area code 370-8100. Again, that's our main line to the district. You can always use our Let's Talk feature. Staff do get notified when there's new Let's Talk that gets submitted. So please continue to use our Let's Talk feature right on our website. Click on the Let's Talk icon or the link, and then submit any questions or comments that you may have about reopening, maybe a question around busing or transportation, things of that nature. So again, I want to welcome everyone back. We're excited to have everyone back. A couple of things I want to also mention. This is my 7th week in the district. It's been great. Everyone continues to be very welcoming. I've been meeting with various stakeholders across the district. And so, I continue to meet with our partners, continue to meet with families at various events. I attended orientation last night, which was fantastic at the high school. And, one of the things that I would tell you was about 1,500 students and families there. It was great. The 9th graders and the 10th graders were both invited, because even our 10th graders didn't have a traditional year last year with us being kind of virtual. So I do want to make sure that I mention that. So I talked about school reopening in 1 week from today. Next Thursday, we will welcome everyone back, pre-K to 12 across the city of Schenectady. Again, orientations are happening. If you have questions about orientation, I think there's some that have already come into the chat box. Please reach out to your school where you are located. We are trying to put as much as we can on our district main page. But again, you can call the main line. There may be a question about remote instruction or virtual. Right now, the only option for remote was if you were medically fragile, you have some kind of documentation that requires you to still be home. And so that you will have that as well. If you don't have that, reach out to us, let us know. If you have documentation, a doctor's note. I know principals were calling families. I know some of our student support service staff were also engaging in families and making sure that support was being provided. I also want to just thank our custodial and grounds crew. They're working really hard to make sure our buildings are cleaned and ready for us to go. We typically always run crunch time, so this will be a big weekend for some of our schools, but we're excited to welcome some of our families into our buildings who haven't been in there. Schools like Woodlawn had some great construction happen over the pandemic period that we were gone, and so you'll be coming back to that. I'm going to take a couple questions. One question that I saw come in or was given here was, how will the CDTA bus work for high schools? So those students will be receiving a bus pass or a notification that they're on one of those bus runs, and it'll work just like normal. They will be given designated times on a designated route, and they'll be able to get on the bus and go to school. The good thing with the CDTA bus is, let's say for some reason they were late, they woke up late, they overslept, they still can run on the CDTA bus with their bus pass. And so they will get a bus pass that'll be good for a quarter, and then they will be updated. Those bus passes will be updated every quarter. They will get new bus passes. And again, our high school staff will go through with that, but you should have gotten gotten a mailing already that highlights that you're one of those students on the run. It should have a map of where the route is. They're going to be color coded. They'll say it on the front of the bus. And again, if you have more specific questions, please call our main line at 518-370-8100 and ask for transportation, and they will work with you on that as well. That is a new pilot program, but we're excited because the kids will come home on the bus on the CDTA and also to school, and it'll also allow a couple of opportunities if a kid is running late and still needs to get to school where transportation may not be there. And the hope is that we can expand the pilot beyond that. I've got a question here about if a classmate is diagnosed with COVID, will the class have to quarantine? Great question. We have some contract tracing information that was given to us by the county health department, and typically they're going to use the same 6-foot perimeter as they have in the past. So the one important thing with the quarantining is if you're masked, it changes things considerably. And so that's why we're having 100% masking while students are in the classroom. And we will be working with families, communicating with our county health department. Obviously, we'll have seating charts so we know which kids are where. But again, the masking helps mitigate quarantining. If you're masked and you're not exposed, when you're unmasked, that really changes things because you have a 15-minute kind of cumulative window that you can be unmasked near somebody who is positive and they will quarantine you. So the whole class will not have to quarantine, to answer that question regarding the masking. It'll be people within 6 feet, but again, that's only if their mask is off, if they had it off for more than kind of 15 minutes. So that'll be one thing. There was a question around why are we not offering a virtual option? Again, we are offering a virtual option. It's only going to be for students with a documented medical need, that they have maybe a health issue that's compromised, that they can't come back. We are not offering a virtual option that's just by choice. We know that many of our students were home, many of them for a variety of reasons, some out of their control, couldn't engage, attendance, a variety of variables. It's so important to have our kids back in the buildings with a caring adult, a teacher to check in on them, to give them instruction firsthand. I mean, to me, that is the gold standard, having, teaching, and learning. I think the other thing that's important here is we can guarantee a breakfast and a lunch every day with kids in person. We can guarantee access to athletics, physical education, art, music. Many of those things, our teachers did a great job virtually, but there's nothing replaces that in-person experience. And I will tell you that I know some folks may be still hesitant for a variety of reasons, but most of our families are not sequestered in their homes. They're still enjoying life. They're still going out. They're still doing things in the community. And so again, if we do them safely with masking, we're having our staff masked, we're having our kids masked, we're having hand sanitizers, we're still doing cleaning protocols, we're still doing COVID like things, that it's important to get our kids back. The other thing is, I think I got kind of some of the high level questions so far. I'm going to keep just kind of moving on. I do want to point you to our school website. If you go to our district website, there's 2 documents that are really important. It's kind of hard to probably show on the camera, but they're right on our website. They're right at the very top, and they show our kind of our layered mitigation protocols and our kind of a summary chart. I recommend you check them out. They will change often, so please keep visiting the website. They'll be updated as we get new information. The summary chart, the reopening, really goes into kind of a lot of the areas with masks, social distancing, kind of those kinds of things. So I encourage you to spend a little time becoming familiar. Sit down with your daughter, your son, or if you have multiple children in the house, and talk to them about kind of some of the things that are expected. A lot of the first couple days of school is going to be spent on kind of, teaching expectations, doing some of those things regarding, instruction, what technology looks like, what PE going to look like, what COVID testing is going to look like. Maybe another question is parents about having a choice. There is a homeschool choice for parents. If you are not interested in coming back in person, you can pursue that. You just have to put something in writing letting us know you're going to homeschool your child. I think there was a question about something of that nature. That all that requires is typically an email with the name of your child, either to myself or we have somebody in the district office that will take care of that, work with you. There are some requirements that the parent's responsible for, like curriculum and things of that nature. But again, the goal here is to get everybody back. And I know the word normalcy has different connotations for different people, But the goal is to get back to what school used to look like in the fall of 2019 when we were all coming back. The conversation around virtual, wasn't necessarily there. And if it was there for advanced placement courses or things that we were doing around innovation, different things. Transportation schedules should be coming out. If you haven't received them, I would imagine there were some final tweaks. We know some parents are apprehensive or didn't want to take kids on their bus, so we offered them an opportunity to let us know if you don't need the bus so that we can make sure that we have enough room for everyone. And our transportation department is probably working through some of those last minute requests, but at the latest, you should have something this weekend. So please be on the lookout for the mail. Anything else, Karen, coming up? So again, I just want to thank you guys all for joining us. We're going to try to go live at some of the schools on opening day. We're going to be out here. We know that social media is an important platform for many of our parents to engage. It's right on your phone. You can follow along. You can submit questions. We're going to do our best to always have this dialogue with each other. And again, sometimes you may not like my answers, but just know I'm going to try to give you an honest and transparent answer on some of these things. And last but not least, keep checking our website. We'll keep updating it. We'll keep putting things out there. Athletics is underway. We have kids playing sports, and so we're going to continue to do that as well. So if there's nothing else really coming up in terms of questions, just want to say thank you. Look forward to seeing all of our kids on September 9th. Looking forward to engaging in our families. And again, a reminder that we will post any kind of questions we may have missed in the frequently asked questions document. And so if there's anything we miss, continue to comment. If you watch this later on tonight, put some questions in there. Our staff will be looking for some of the questions and comments. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for trusting us and believing in us and, really being excited about getting kids back. We know that having kids in school all day is so important. It allows parents to go back to work. It allows various things to happen for our businesses and our community. So thank you so much.